Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. And we are in the throes now celebrating 20 years of Beast Wars. I thought about taking a look at a few of these characters, a few of these figures back in April, or was it May? Whenever the two-part pilot season series premiere would have occurred. Then I thought about doing it a few weeks ago when the first episode in its regular time slot occurred. I think that was called The Web. Don't quote me on it. But by now, we were all into the series enough that we were starting to get used to it, but I'd say a lot of us that were drawn in originally with G1 were certainly looking at it thinking, I don't know, robots turning into organic beasts? Not sure about that. I don't know about this new CGI animation style. I know I certainly wasn't sold right away, but now 20 years later we've got some really classic characters, and there were some beautiful innovations in that series. And of course, it drew in an entirely new generation of fans. So in honor of 20 years, we're going to start off looking at this guy. This is the Transformers Generations Deluxe class Rattrap. One of those absolute classic characters. And somebody who I think was really due for an update, and I'd love to see others, you know, in the line, down the line. Does that mean he was a complete success? Well, stick around and we're going to discuss everything to do with this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey folks, as always, I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and I welcome you back. I thank you for dropping by, and I'm going to ask you to check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor. Like and comment and subscribe and share. Check me out everywhere. And of course, have a look around the rest of the channel. See if there's anything on any of the other playlists that tickled your fancy. A lot coming down the pike as the days, weeks, months, and years go on. And we're going to focus right on this guy now. What can I say? His paint app's easily a very strong 9. It is not absolutely perfect, but the things that aren't perfect are so minuscule that I don't even know if they're worth mentioning. I look at it, I think it's Rattrap. Now, I wasn't sold on the blaster that came with him, being this translucent deal here. I don't know why this was translucent. I don't get it. And it could also split apart to become two blasters. I never ever have this apart, but it can do it. It is a feature. I'm not sold on this. It's okay, I guess, for what it is, but I'm not sold on it. So we'll take that out of it. I guess I should also point out that it came with another accessory in this arm. I think they were mines. I think they were supposed to be mines. It's, again, just a little molded, unpainted, translucent piece that I really don't remember. I think it was in an episode or two in a feature that he had. It's nice that it was included. I appreciate the attention to detail if you can see it up close. I appreciate the attention to detail. I don't know if it was necessary. So we will put that back in his arm. But yeah, no, I do. I appreciate that attention to detail. Strong 9, posability, playability. In rat mode, you know what? He can stand on his hind legs if you finagle it a bit. His front legs can kind of move around. My front legs tend to pop off extremely easily. And the head can move forward and back, even with a dedicated flap to kind of cover a gap in the neck. I would call that pretty impressive for the size and stuff that it is. And for being a beast. It would have been real easy to just make this guy completely static. Head in robot mode can go left and right. The arms they can, you know, go well out to the side. Of course, you got to get the rat arms out of the way to do it. And I just pop one off. There, I'll put those up. Way out to the side, a little under 90 degrees of elbow. It would have been nice if that was better. Bicep swivel. I don't know if I said head left or right. I can also look down a little bit and up a little bit. No waist articulation, but I can understand why that would be. To be perfectly honest with you, I guess I should bring that piece up. I understand exactly why that would be. The legs go way out to the side. They can go back. They can go forward, way forward. Nice 90-degree knee bend. I absolutely appreciate and love that. Nothing at the ankles. He stands well, quite well. Overall, his articulation is pretty good. Is he gonna make a liar of me in that stand now? There you go. Overall, his articulation is pretty good. I'm gonna give it an 8. It's not perfect. There are ways it could be improved, but it's certainly not bad either. Transformation. That's the biggest challenge with this guy. Whew, I'm nervous about doing this one because his transformation is not fun at all in my estimation. There's a lot of shell forming here and some pretty intricate moves. Now that being said, there are things done here that are absolute great innovations and genius. And it all makes for a very convincing rap mode, you know, all things considered. So we'll jump right into it. Oh, I guess actually before that, I should do a couple of comparisons. Here he is with Chrome Dome, you know, modern day Deluxe, and here he is with Titan's Return Highbrow, another modern day Deluxe. I looked at Chrome Dome and Highbrow in episodes 175, 176, I do believe. As far as the Deluxe goes, he scales well. But as far as being a Maximal goes, he does not, because if you're familiar with that Beast Wars show, the Maximals were much smaller than traditional Autobots. Okay, so on we go. And where exactly do we begin with this guy? Well, I should say this too. I got those up right now. Really, I think they're supposed to be down on his back like this. It's just the way that I happen to have them there. So, like I said, where do we begin here with this guy? I always like to do the easy stuff first. There's nothing really easy with Rattrap, so we're just going to pick it up and go. Head, we'll bring that up. The rat feet, I think it's ingenious that they fold underneath the robot foot, but we're going to bring that out, and we're going to bring that out. There you go. We're going to split the front of the leg from the back of the leg. Just like that. And now you take the calf and you spin it around. You take the calf and you spin half of it around anyway to make a complete rat leg. These are going to be his hind legs eventually. Now, this is when stuff gets tricky. We have the shins and the feet bend forward, right? And they bend up as far as they can go, but they can go further than even what I have done here, because there's another hinge right here and right here. Bend it on forward. Like that. Bend it on forward like that. And all that is just flailing and free-flowing right now. Glorious! We come to the back, and there is a back panel in the center here. This back panel in the center right here, it kind of covers another back panel. You need to pull this down so that the two back panels basically meet. You can also, once you get it down, flip this piece out. It's what the back legs will lock into, and it's where the rat tail is. So there's a whole lot going on there. We bring that down. One back piece now, two back pieces. I hope you can see that. We flip out his rear section and we bring his tail out. When we do that, you may notice that there's a cut right here in the plastic. there's a couple of circular joints in here and in here that need to go into those cuts in the plastic. That gives us the rat legs. But before you can do that, you need to take his knee and basically try and push it right up so that it touches the back of the rat body. Kind of where my finger is inside, if you can see that. Like I said, challenging. And not a huge pile of fun, to be honest with you. That goes way up like that. And there's no, like, the thing is, there's no real easy way to explain it to you other than, like, to show you, other than to actually do it. Get those arms up out of the way. Get that rat arm out of the way too, because that's just popping off and driving me bonkers. And we put the hind rat feet out. And we have the hind legs locked in. It's a lot of finagling. A lot of uncomfortable finagling where I feel like I'm going to break stuff that I don't really like. In the end, basically, this is what you should have with the 2 rat feet here and the 2 robot feet up as close to the body as possible. Now we need to deal with the arms, because we've got this much fun done. The arms. You're going to turn them right around and turn them right around so that they are, I guess, basically facing forward like this. That's the easiest way to do it. Next, on a gray hinge in here and a gray hinge in here, you're going to bring them down and bring them down, and then you're going to flip the shoulder pieces up inside the body just like that. Next, you want to turn the arm so that the fist is facing out. Turn the arm so that the fist is facing out. Some people will tell you different, but I feel like that this is the best way to do it. And they kind of rest in on the robot legs, basically. That's basically what's happening there. Finally, you have 2 panels on the back here. They're going to make the side of the rat body and his front legs. You're going to bring those down, and they should fit in. Hopefully, if we've done stuff correctly, they should fit in pretty nicely. Fairly nicely. Quite nicely. And if you're like me and you knocked off a front leg, hey, jam that front leg on now. Put the rat's tail down, and in the end, boom, there you go. You have a Rattrap in rat mode, and it's a pretty good looking rat mode, even though there's a bunch of robot kibble underneath. I will point this out. There is a hole way up here, just in by his tail. See if I can show it closer. Way up there, just in by his tail. That's where you basically store his blaster. It's a bit of an unfortunate location, but hey, weapon storage. How can you complain about weapon storage? That being said, in this mode, he can also stand up. You can angle the feet back like that and the tail back, and he stands up. Oh, and he stands up as a rat. Now, that being said, he's not perfect. You bring these front paws down, and he's kind of doing jazz hands because they can't move. That's a shame. It would have been nice if there was a hinge here. And you can bring the head all the way forward. And when you do, you will probably notice that you see the back of the robot head there, and it looks ugly. But, as I said earlier, there is a dedicated panel in here designed just to cover that. It can, however, be tricky to get out. There, but it covers that in very nicely. And now you don't have that problem. Also, if you're interested, the rat mouth does open. And there you go, Rattrap on his hind legs. Honestly, I appreciate all that. Lining everything up, all the movements you need to do for the transformation makes it rough. Do not get this for kids. It is going to be, I think, too challenging because the movements are too precise. At least for most. Some kids, hey, I mean, are definitely going to be able to do it. But I think for a majority of kids, for a fun, quick transformation back and forth, this is not the guy for him to have. I would give his transformation at best about a 5.5. About that. It's not great. And it's not great because of the nature of the beast. Pardon the pun. It has to be kind of the way that it is. I applaud the designers for some of the innovations like they did with the shoulders and with those legs. I do. I really do applaud it. He's not an easy character to do. Are there things that could have been improved? Possibly. But I feel like that the big issue with this guy is having correct tolerances. That's where he becomes the most challenging. Overall score for Rattrap. I'm going to have to give him at best a 7. He is certainly not the best in the Generations line, but he's certainly not the worst. He looks great in both modes. He's fun to play with in both modes. He's solid here. Once you get him together, he's solid in robot mode. But that transformation, again, pardon the pun, is an absolute monster of a beast. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for dropping by and having a look at a little bit of Beast Wars fun here. You know that I appreciate it, and as always, I look forward to the next time that you and I get together right here for another visit inside the videos.